Welcome back. Today I'm here with my dad, and as all of you know him, Mike Morgan from Outdoors with the Morgans. And this is an interview with Mike Morgan, but he's interviewing me.
She's going to ask me a few questions as well, but this is primarily, we're going to get to know Eva a little better,
Get
right?
to know me a little more.
So I came up with some questions. She doesn't know what the questions are, and they're going to be like in random order.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say before we begin?
This is my first video in a few weeks. I've been busy at school. I have a job up at school. I have a new church responsibility up at school also. I'm doing my personal training certification, as most of you know, and then school itself is a lot of work, and then also trying to maintain my YouTube channel. So I've been super busy, but I want to do some videos up at school also, so if there's anything you guys want to see, let me know.
Yeah, Eva came home this weekend. She's been helping out around here some.
Yep.
And like right now, I just had her bring the mini skid out for me because I'm going to be out here cutting some firewood. But let's get right into it.
All right.
Random order.
Okay.
What is one of your favorite childhood memories, Eva?
One of my favorite childhood memories, the first one, is when we were all helping my dad load firewood into his truck, and Hannah threw one and it hit me in the head.
That's your favorite memory, getting hit in the head?
Yeah.
Oh, because you keep bringing it up over and over again.
And another one of my favorite memories is when I would run away as a kid. Every time I ran away, it was because I was in trouble, but I would just run away instead of getting in trouble.
How old were you when you did that?
Probably like 6-ish.
Yeah, so this clearing wasn't out here or anything, and
He would have to bring the quad out to get me.
I came home from work and everyone's just kind of laughing. I go, what's so funny? Eva ran away again because she was mad about something. And so I'd hop on the little Kawasaki Bayou. And you had a little bag with you and everything.
I would take a bag. The one time I packed like carrots. But the one time I ran away because Hannah threatened to throw me out the window. Hannah was like babysitting me, and she would say that to get me to behave, so I ran away.
So those are your favorite memories, running away and getting hit in the head with a piece of firewood. All right, number 2. Now this is what was it like? This is a good question. What was it like growing up with an older brother with autism? And keep in mind, there's a big age gap between Hunter and Eva. Hunter is what, 32?
Yes, and I'm 19.
And you're 19. So what was that like?
There's definitely a big age gap, and I feel like Hunter's autism is very different than like what growing up you would see in school, because Hunter's nonverbal. Hunter has different like behavior than some of those kids. So growing up with a brother like Hunter definitely had its pros and cons in a way. I'll start with the cons, just like explaining that to people, especially my age, like when I'm in elementary school. I barely understood it at the time, so it's hard for me to explain that to other people. So I never really had friends over or stuff like that, just because you don't know how to explain that to like a first grader at the time.
And we just never knew how it was going to go.
Yeah, you never know. It's very unexpected. So I never really had friends over. But pros, like even up until now, I know how to handle situations with people different from me, different from others, people with special needs, just like so much better than other people may, just because I've grown up with Hunter. And I would say Hunter has it more extreme in a way than like what I may encounter at school. So being able to have a brother as Hunter and see how like my parents and my siblings have always handled other people and Hunter has taught me so much more than what many people experience in their lives. So it's definitely helped me interact with other people with different situations better than some people may.
And you have always been able to, we've noticed, help the kids that might be a little bit different. Not like kids, maybe not like Hunter, but kids that are in school that are a little different
or have special needs
or struggling. Eva has always been able to feel comfortable making friends with them and being nice to them and helping them out.
I've always had many opportunities with that too. Like in elementary school, we would do like a best buddies like lunch program. So I would always get picked to go eat lunch with certain students so they could be more included. And like even at the gym I used to work at, like I would get selected to work one-on-one with an athlete with special needs as a kid, just because I have more experience with that and people know that. So
Speaking of the gym, that's another question. I'm going out of my own order here.
Okay.
What and when got you into fitness, and how did you get started?
Well, when I was like in elementary school, I probably tried out like tennis or basketball, gymnastics, cheerleading. Like I did all these things for maybe like a month at max. I never liked being like told what to do on a team and stuff like that.
Or in life.
That's true. I like doing my own thing. So in 5th grade, my mom introduced me to CrossFit, a CrossFit class for like little kids. So I started doing that, and I like have been doing that ever since. And then in 7th grade, I got the opportunity to start assistant coaching youth CrossFit classes. So I did that from 7th grade up until my senior year. And then my junior year of high school, I did my coaching level 1 CrossFit certification course. So I have that certificate currently. And right now I'm not really doing CrossFit anymore, but I am doing more weightlifting and just like more commercial gym training, which is very different for me. But I started doing that since I got to college because doing CrossFit at that gym wasn't as easy. But I do really like my training currently.
Okay. Now, who was your biggest role model growing up? And don't feel obligated to say me because I'm sitting here.
Probably my mom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured.
I would say my mom because my mom is a very like selfless person. Well, also my dad. My dad, from a very as young as I can remember things, my dad has always been working. Like all he does is work, and it's kind of like a joke in our family that we would always like do this thing where we'd go around and have to say like one nice thing about everyone, and every single person would say he's hardworking. So it was like a joke that we'd always just say he's hardworking, but it's true. Like he is constantly working. When he like had a job and he would have to drive to work every day, like he would drive far, he'd be working all day, he'd come home, do more work here. Like he was constantly doing things. So that was definitely inspiring to me to learn like a work ethic and that you have to work for things. And looking at my dad now and like how far he's come and like the life we have now is definitely very like inspiring to me. But my mom has taught me just how to like be kind to others. Like I said, like with Hunter, whether it's like we see someone like Hunter at a grocery store, my mom makes sure like that person feels loved and welcome while everyone else is just like staring and kind of judging in a way. And my mom has just always taught me how to treat others, even if they're different or if they're being rude to you, how to be nice back. So both my parents have been big role models in my life.
Well, thanks, Eva.
You're welcome.
Here's one for you. I'll give them the background and then I'll ask you the question. Okay. So a few years ago, Eva had a brain surgery because she had, correct me if I'm wrong, Chiari malformation. And what that is where the back of your brainstem droops down into the spinal column, and it makes pressure on your spine and creates all kind of problems, like bad headaches, numbness in your hands, all your extremities, your feet, right? So Eva had to have brain surgery. Hannah went through the same thing several years before that. Now my question is twofold. What was it like knowing like the day before you were going to have brain surgery, because you handled it unbelievably well? I would have been scared to death, and we felt comfortable with her. I would have been terrified. But how did you handle that, just knowing you're going to have brain surgery the next day, and how has your recovery been since then?
So first of all, something he did leave out was my surgery date got pushed back.
Oh yeah.
I was supposed to have my surgery in November or December, and then it got pushed to January. And so it was the night before my surgery was supposed to be that I found out I couldn't get it that day anymore. So I was ready for the surgery that day. So by the time I actually had my surgery the day before, it almost felt like a joke in a way. Like I was like, this isn't actually happening. Like I'm not actually getting the surgery, until I like got to the hospital and then had to like get some tests done and everything. Then I was like, okay, this is like real. But like he said, I'm pretty sure you mentioned that Hannah had the same surgery, my sister. And so I was pretty scared because Hannah's surgery was a little more like intense than mine was. It was also like years before.
It was the same procedure, but it was before that.
Yeah. And a lot of things changed.
Yours was a lot less invasive.
Yeah, mine wasn't as bad. But seeing how Hannah's surgery went, I was like scared because Hannah was a mess after.
She had a long recovery.
She had a long recovery. So going into it, I was a little nervous, but I was pretty calm about the whole situation.
You were.
Like I was ready for it to be over with at that point. because I was expecting to have it 2 months prior. So by the time my surgery actually came, I was just ready to get it over with. I didn't even care anymore.
And at that point, you were in so much pain, and you were like, I got to do something.
I was just ready for it.
Okay.
What was the rest of your question?
How's recovery been so far?
Oh, recovery. Seriously, within like a week, I was perfectly fine. They sent me home from the hospital, like not even 24 hours after my surgery. I went home, I unpacked my bag, like I wanted to go do stuff, and everyone was like, you need to lay down. Like I felt perfectly fine. I had a much better experience than Hannah did, and I was able to like move my neck and look around. Hannah couldn't even do that for like a month. So,
maybe even 2 months.
Yeah.
Because they like cut all Hannah's neck muscles. And Dr. Friedlander, I did a video with Dr. Friedlander and Eva, much less invasive, and so that worked out.
So my recovery was a lot better, and I'm like 100% fine now.
Next question. How do you stay motivated when things get tough or don't go as planned? And what I mean is with school, just with everything, because you are very busy for a young lady. And like, how do you stay motivated when days it might be easier just to do nothing?
I think the biggest thing that I struggle, like that I lose motivation for, would be the gym, because it's just like, if I'm busy, then I'm like, okay, I just won't work out today. Like that takes up like an hour or two of my day. I just won't do it. So that's like the easiest thing to lose motivation for. But honestly, my motivation like this year for the gym has been parking at school, because our parking is so terrible, and you have to get to your class like an hour before it anyways. So I live like 2 minutes from campus, but I have to wake up extra early. So I've been going to the gym at 7 a.m. every morning this semester. And when I wake up and I'm like, I'm so tired, like, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna wanna go later in the day. I'm gonna be late to class. So that's my motivation.
Good parking spot.
Yeah, I also get like, I'm very like hard on myself when it comes to school. I wanna do well, I wanna stay on top of my work, but I also procrastinate my work. So my motivation is knowing that like, that I'm gonna procrastinate. I've gotten better at procrastinating, but I just use like myself as my own motivation, because I'm like, I'm not gonna wanna do it later. So I'm just gonna do it now. That's
good. Next question. Kind of goes along with that, but how do you manage your time?
Managing time is hard for me, but again, just like I tell myself, if I don't do it, like if I do it now, then I can do something else later. Because if I just push it off, then that's just gonna add more and more. Because as my day goes on, I think of more things I have to do. I get more assignments from classes. So if I don't do something now, then I'm gonna have like double the work to do later. So I just manage my time because I have to do it. So I just tell myself that.
Here's a good question for you.
Okay.
What was your biggest challenge as a child, and how did it affect you?
I think my biggest challenge was almost all my siblings, because we already talked about Hunter's autism. So that was like a big part of my life. I would say that was a challenge because obviously not many people have a similar situation. So that was difficult for me. But also like Hannah and Levi are also much older than me. So while I have 3 siblings, I was almost like an only child in a way, because like when I was in 4th grade, Hannah and Levi were both moved out of the house, and it was just me and Hunter. So I almost was like always like an only child in a way.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a challenge for me, because I had like everyone, all my teachers in school would always be like, if you have older siblings, ask them about this. But like all mine were like across the country, and I was like, well, that's not much help.
Yeah, that's true. Next question. How many times did it take you to pass your driver's test?
3. 3rd time's the charm.
Eva, when we went to do her drive, her problem was she's a very confident person, and she honestly was a very, very good driver right out of the gate, but she was just way overconfident on the whole testing procedure.
I was.
And it was during COVID and all that, and it was just a mess. The second time, remember, they had the test person.
Yeah, the instructor.
And they were training someone. So there's 2 of them in the car with Eva. But yeah, the parallel parking, everything. She did very good with everything when we would practice. But you went into a little overconfident.
As soon as I got there. Because the first test, like he said, it was during like COVID, their COVID procedure. So it was in a parking lot, and you seriously had to stop at 2 stop signs,
like 20 feet apart,
like turn, and then parallel park. And I parallel parked, I passed that, and then I didn't make a complete stop at a stop sign because I was in a parking lot and I wasn't thinking this is my driver's test. I have to actually stop.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm in a parking lot. That's good enough. And then I failed. And then the second time there was 2 instructors, and it was parallel parking that I failed on that. I was like this in the box, and you get like I think it's like 3 pull-ups and 3 backups. And I'm like this, and she's like, okay, you get 1 more pull-up. And I was like, well, I was like, okay. And I just like moved forward again. I was like, I know I'm not gonna fix it.
Next question. If you could have any kind of pet, what would it be?
Do you know the answer to this? I would have a hedgehog. I've always wanted a pet hedgehog. They're illegal in Pennsylvania.
Is that for real? Like they're illegal?
They're actually illegal in Pennsylvania.
Illegal?
So, yes, illegal. Not legal.
Okay.
So if I ever get one,
You
no
guys
one will
won't know. It'll be
You
on the
guys won't
lowdown.
know. But I've always wanted a hedgehog. I think they're so cute.
All right. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
This is a basic answer, but I would say Hawaii. I just always see pictures. I think it looks beautiful, and I'd love to go there. But also, if I could travel to anywhere I've already been, I would say Quebec in Canada, because I went there for a field trip in 8th grade in like March, and it was beautiful. We went dog sledding and like did all this stuff, and the snow was so high.
That's pretty cool, because Hawaii, it's
Complete
not like
opposites.
you're comparing 2 beaches or something.
Complete opposite.
So you really liked Quebec. I remember
did.
you talking about
Yeah, it
that.
was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I would choose Hawaii if I could go anywhere.
You haven't been. Sometime you need to go out, even if you come out for a couple days when your mom and I go out west.
I would love to go out
You would
west.
love it out there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with us. Our lives have always been just a little different. Nothing wrong with it. But with Hunter, heck, half the time, Melissa and I, we don't do things together. You know,
Everything's a little split up.
yeah, everything's split up. You know, even
Vacations, family dinner, everything.
when Hunter was little, we drove separate everywhere we went because you never knew how it was going to go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so now that we're older and Hunter's older, and we have Levi works for us, and Eva helps out, and Hannah's moving back, that allows, like Melissa and I, we hadn't gone anywhere for
It's a while.
15 years or something, 20 years until the last couple years. So
Mm-hmm.
we've always had a little, nothing, you know, not that there's anything wrong with it, but just a little bit different life than what most people are used to seeing.
So they've gotten to go out west, and I haven't.
Yeah, we'll take you sometime. It's
I would
nice.
love to go.
So those are all the questions I have. Do you have 1 or 2 for me?
I do. First question: who's your favorite child?
Can't answer that on video.
I think everyone knows the answer.
I will say one thing. I'm not going to pick a favorite. But all of our kids, and a lot of this has to do with Hunter, were always a little bit mature in a good way beyond their years. And I think a lot of that has to do
very true.
with having a brother like Hunter. You know what I mean?
And I forget about that sometimes. My whole life, everyone has told me like that I'm very mature for my age. But now, like being in college, I look around, I'm like, how are these people still not mature? Like, when are people gonna grow up? Like, so.
And one really cool trait that you have that I've noticed forever is Eva can talk to a little 1-year-old kid or a 90-year-old great-grandmother and everybody in between. And you just kind of treat everybody the same, you know what I mean? But she's been able to, you're very personable and able to talk to anyone.
Okay.
See how I dodged that question? Next question.
I'm gonna copy one of yours. What's your motivation every day?
As far as work goes and stuff,
Yeah.
That's easy. I hated being broke, and when we first got married, we didn't have anything, you know, and we didn't have any money, and it always felt like you're just kind of spinning your wheels, and we just kept moving forward, and over time things got better and better, and I just didn't like that feeling, and I like being able to support my family and provide for my kids. And you know, like with Hunter, it just takes more, you know, with everything. And I think that's the biggest thing. I did not like struggling and being broke when we first got married, and I always never cared what anybody else had or anybody else did. I just kept moving forward, and I continue to do that today.
Okay, I like that answer. If you could get any animals, what would you get? Maybe out in this clearing.
It wouldn't be the smartest thing, but I would love one of them little Highlander cows, a couple of those little Highlander cows.
I agree.
I don't even know why.
I love those.
Yeah.
I think we should get them.
We may do that sometime. Or a donkey. We need some animals.
We do need some animals. I think those are the only questions I have for you.
Okay, good. I was feeling the pressure.
All right, well, thank you for watching our interview. If you guys have any of your own questions for me or for him, maybe we can make an actual video of me interviewing him next time. Leave any questions in the comments. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, share with a friend, subscribe. Do you have anything to say?
That's it. Appreciate y'all being here.
All right, see you next time.